Okay, I apologize. We gotta run this back again. I'm sorry.
That's
about
okay.
that. Name, title, company affiliation.
Hi, my name is Robert Miller. I am the CEO and co-founder of Honeycomb Health.
And then do that one more time for me.
Hi, my name is Robert Miller. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Honeycomb Health.
Awesome. Okay, so again, can you talk about your background in blockchain and healthcare?
So I've been talking anyone's ear off that will listen to me about blockchain and healthcare and the intersection with cryptocurrencies since I found Bitcoin in 2011 on Reddit. Professionally, I've been working in blockchain and healthcare when I joined Medical Chain, a decentralized electronic health record. But since then, I've started my own company called Honeycomb Health. We use blockchain as a way to manage access to patients' data, and we create disease-specific information management tools for patients with rare diseases to better manage their health.
Awesome. Can you talk a little bit about what you wrote about in the book and why that was the topic that you wanted to jump into?
So I wrote about healthcare initial coin offerings, or ICOs. This is a new form of fundraising where projects will crowd fund their... I wrote about healthcare initial coin offerings, or ICOs. This is a new type of fundraising where projects will crowdfund the development of their project by pre-selling cryptocurrency and then making the later functionality. I wrote about this because it is integral to understanding blockchain and cryptocurrencies. It's integral to knowing where the most amount of interest and the most amount of activity is. And although you can find information online about general ICOs, there was very, very little written about the intersection between healthcare and initial coin offerings. So I went and I did study. I'm gonna do that again.
This will all get cut up, so no worries.
Yeah. I wrote about healthcare initial coin offerings, or ICOs for short. This is a new form of fundraising where projects will crowd fund their activities by selling their own cryptocurrency. I wrote about this because it is integral to understanding the blockchain and crypto space, and because no one had written about the intersection of healthcare and ICOs before. No one had asked, what are the trends? What does the industry landscape look like? What are the best practices? How have the returns been so far? And the results were very revealing. There's been over $500 million invested in 150 healthcare ICOs in the past 2 years. And to date, those projects have only put out a little bit over 24 different production scale. Oh man, I shouldn't get into that detail. That's like politically contentious.
Oh really?
To say. Yeah,
I have no
yeah.
idea, man. It's all over me.
Yeah.
You can pick up where you left off. You can jump off that topic however you want to do it. Again, this is all going to get spliced up, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, okay. I wrote about healthcare ICOs, or initial coin offerings. This is a new type of fundraising where projects will crowdfund their development. I wrote about this because it is integral to understanding the blockchain and cryptocurrency space. But no one had looked at the intersection of healthcare and ICOs to see what the landscape looks like, what the trends are, what the returns on these investments have been to date, what the best practices are. And despite there being a tremendous amount of activity, 150 plus healthcare ICOs and $500 million invested in the past 2 years, there was really no place where I could go and read an overview. And I thought that was important to disseminate that information.
So what would be some pressing issues that must be solved in blockchain and healthcare?
Within what I specifically wrote about, or?
Sure, or if you want to elaborate off of that just in a more general sense, that's fine too.
Within healthcare ICOs, there are a lot of issues we haven't figured out. We know how to value a share of a company. We know how to value a bond. Those are, or derivative if you want to get a little bit more esoteric. These are complex things, but they've been figured out in their equations. For that, we have no idea how to value a cryptocurrency, and that has led to a lot of speculation within ICOs and a lot of bad return on investments. There are multiple reasons for that, and this is not necessarily anyone's fault, but we need to have a better sense of how to create long-term sustainable cryptoeconomic systems, because those can be really powerful tools for achieving some sort of desirable social outcome. It's just to date, no one has cracked the code as to how to properly design an ICO to achieve that social outcome that's desirable.
So when you start looking forward into 2019 and beyond that, what are some things that really excite you? Or things that you would really like to see happen?
I'm really excited because there's been a tremendous amount of money, a tremendous amount of interest, a lot of talent pouring into this space, and I feel like we're at this critical junction point right before a lot of things actually start hitting production, and where some of the hardest problems in the blockchain space, not necessarily specific to healthcare, but just overall, are getting tackled, and there are some solutions coming out. In particular, I'm talking about user experience problems, of abstracting away the complexity of things like public-private key cryptography, better wallets coming out. And I'm excited to have some examples to point to of implementations of blockchain in healthcare, where I can say, this is something that is live in production, and here are the outcomes and the statistics that this implementation drove.
So in conclusion, is there anything that you would like to leave readers with going into reading this book?
What I would say is that blockchain is a fundamental technological revolution, and that means that in these early days we may not have necessarily figured out the best use cases for it yet. There are, like any disruptive technology, it will enable things that were not possible in previous paradigms. Like the internet enabled new business models, there are completely new business models enabled by blockchain technology that after 10 years of blockchain being introduced to the world by Satoshi Nakamoto, we still haven't figured out. So I would say that readers of this book should keep that in mind, that this is a very new, a fundamental technological revolution, and to spend time thinking about what blockchain can enable that was not possible before, because I think that is where the real fundamental value will be created on a long-term scale.
Awesome, man. That's it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.